Hey everybody, welcome in. It is Friday, April 24th, 11:45 a.m. Eastern. I'm going to try not to cry through this. But if you're new here, welcome. My name's Liane, and if you're been around for a while, you'll know that the reason I'm so connected to the Nancy Guthrie case is because of elders and the topic around elders living on their own, being housed, caregiving, um, etc. I started this channel as a need because I lost all my coaching clients while caring for my dad with dementia when he was defrauded of all his money by my mother and my sister and his own business partners, other attorneys. And my power of attorney was ignored. He was left to die in Florida with no money, where he developed the pneumonia because he didn't have the $5 for the prescription, which is what it would have cost with his ARP insurance. At the same time, and in that those exact moments, the same lawyer that put illegal liens on his home was withholding his money as his business partner. I've talked about this before, and that I needed a break from it. But the truth is, going from being a real estate coach, working 6 hours a week with an income of 6,600 a month, where I was gonna start traveling, building out my coaching business, where I was earning a full calendar, 20, 30, $40,000 US a month without expenses. And when I was in a real estate, when I had my own team selling real estate, netting well over $500,000, to going to the reality of losing my coaching clients because of illegal liens and court orders, to how we were ignored and failed by the Canadian legal system, the American legal system, the police, the healthcare system, the elder care system, the dementia society. The story is so wild that I was told to write a book about it. And I wasn't ready to before. So I started writing an underground fictional fantasy series about lost civilizations. And that didn't feel right. So I started and showed you the cover of a book that I started writing about an FBI who goes rogue agent. Well, then, as I'm writing my series, it was literally in Dubai, the premise in Dubai, and then the war breaks out in Dubai. So I'm like, well, do I have to now rewrite the whole book and incorporate the reality of the war there now? Like what do I do with that? So I went back to the underground fictional series, only to report earlier this morning, if you missed my piece on David Wilcox, I was writing about exactly the types of stuff he was writing about, although I was presenting it as fiction, and now he's, well, DEA dead. DEAD dead. So I thought, well, maybe that's not an interesting topic so much anymore. And the reality is the stress that it's caused my daughters and I, and have the impact on our lives. Sorry. Sorry. The stress it has caused on my relationships, to go from being a successful single mother, self-employed, with a great business, to not able to pay the bills, can't get a job in sales despite my sales, to feeling completely worthless and like I have nothing to contribute. These are the realities of people that are the victims of financial fraud, which I do believe will be the case in the Nancy Guthrie case. That will come forward. Just my opinion. So what I need now is I've decided that I'm ready to write the story, the truth of what happened to my dad, to me, because the details are so chilling that the police, social worker, dementia society executive, long-term care home executive all said they would support my book and that it was book worthy because it was so unbelievable what happens when everything in the system fails an elder with dementia. When families who take from their elders every effing freaking day in Canada, the United States, and abuse them. What happens to those that are left in the financial wake of those crimes? So I am going to tell my story. And I'm looking for others of you that know about this, who have also been on the receiving end of this. If anybody else has been the victim and watched an elder parent go through this, where you yourself were a caregiver trying to pick up the pieces, the one that's left caring for the elder while the other siblings took all the money. I know you exist out there because when I used to talk about this on my channel much more often, a lot of you would comment. So I'm looking for some brave souls that want to share your story that I will, with your permission and with fictitious names, share in this book that needs to be told about how disgusting North American culture is around our elders. And in Canada, we also let them commit early death by way of assisted deaths if they're too lonely because their family just simply doesn't reach out to them and it just ignores them. It's a really disgusting state that our North American culture lives in with respect to our elders compared to other cultures in the world. In this country that I live in, Canada, and my dad spent and had lived in Florida and spent 6 months of the last 20 years of his life in Florida and was living there permanently on work visas, was also fucked up the you know what by the United States and Canada's justice systems, law enforcement, elder care systems, all of it. It sucks, and it's time to talk about it. It's time to talk about it. So for anybody that wants to help start to talk about these systemic failures in this country and the impacts and cycles of family fraud and dysfunction against elders, and how the patterns and the financial wakes of the survivors ripple for years and years in trauma and live on without any support from this so-called country with a liberal prime minister who supposedly cares about the citizens of this country, yet never mentions elders, ever. Does anybody ever include elders in their platforms? So that's all I'm going to say today. I've been in the background wanting to cover Lynette, but my chart is extremely aligned with Nancy Guthrie for these reasons. And so while I continue to report in true crime, I'm also going to start talking about my book and elder abuse and the generational trauma when families plan to take an elder's money, the loved one that cared for them, raised them, and supported them, and what that says about the sickness within families, the disgusting filth of sickness that the governments turn a blind eye to and just let the old in this country die alone, defrauded of their money, abandoned by an entire family, system, and culture. And it's time it comes to an end. At least it's time we start talking about how we're going to make the change happen. Love and light.